Hi everyone, I'm happy to virtually welcome you all to today's Ad Art Show 2020 POV from MVB Art. My name is Emily Anastasi from the MVB Art team, and it's my pleasure to introduce the episode of a program hosted by Bennett D. Bennett, principal of Aerialist and co-founder of 600 and Rising, featuring the artists from DSOV, Stephen Kogel, Rainice Primrose, and Malik Roberts. To start the show, I wanted to show some photos from the Oculus. Let's see. So to start, here are some images of their work at the Oculus. So in addition to showing 135 artists from advertising, we are proud to bring artists from a talented group that are not following the traditional model from art schools and the traditional gallery setting. So yesterday, our CEO was able to tour some of them around the Oculus. And it was a fun day, as you can see. And make sure, of course, you go to artsy.net to see some of their artwork and, of course, purchase it for yourself.
Wow.
Go back to, so there's Stephen on the left, Malik in the middle, and Rainice on the right. So all of their artwork will be on Artsy. Like I said, you can go to the page, and you can browse their work along with our other artists from DSOV. And all right, without further ado, I'll hand it over to Bennett, and you guys can get started.
Great, thank you for that lovely intro, Emily. I for everybody who's been watching us over the past month, it's been a privilege to hold space for the creative community in this regard. This week is even more special, given that this week is DSOV week, short for Don't Silence Our Voices. This is probably the most, in my opinion, the most powerful of these panels that I've been hosting, just because this time has been very trying for Black and Brown people. There's been a lot happening in the news, a lot happening in society, and if you've listened to the narrative that's been given over these lunchtime POV sessions, art is just one of those things that can heal people. Can be powerful enough to close a lot of divides between individuals and within society. And it is an honor to have Stephen, Malik, Rainice on this chat. So thank you all for just having your work on the in the Oculus. It's crazy. For most of this month, it's just been a lot of really talented people from the ad industry who are just like putting their stuff out there. And for this week, you all get to have your stuff at full display for anybody who's commuting through the Oculus, works in the Lower Manhattan area. But given that most of my audience is people from the advertising world, I'd love for each of you to give a proper introduction to yourselves, the mediums that you use for your craft, and part of your journey. So Rainice, ladies first.
Hi everyone. Hi Stephen, Malik, Bennett. I had formal art training. I'm a painter. I did go to art school, but I went for fashion design. So for about a decade, when I came to New York from DC, I did fashion and I had stopped painting. And I took up painting a couple years ago, took it up again a couple years ago. My preferred medium is acrylics and oil paints. And my discipline was, I like self-portraits and portraits. Recently, since COVID started, I wanted a way to try another art form that wasn't as cost effective as painting. So I took up digital illustrations, and that's the piece on display at the Oculus is. It's a digital illustration from a painting that I did.
Great, great. All right. Stephen, your turn.
Yeah, so as I said, my name is Stephen Kogel. Born and bred in Brooklyn. Like Malik, no formal art training. Just been doing this since 6 years old. Now I'm 49 years later. Come full circle. This is something that's just always been in me, and I just like to convey what I like to call it tribal Africa crossed with urban blight. You see a lot of, as well as Caribbean, you see the Caribbean colors in the works. You see the African influence in some of the figures, but then I like to touch upon what's going on today.
Yeah.
And then I also like to kind of, I'm a 70s kid, so a lot of people that's my age or a little bit older, they'll see some of the references that I put in the work, and it kind of takes them back to like a little simpler time. And again, also, most importantly, I just want to be able to tell our stories, where most people were trying to get into galleries. Me personally, I set my goal as to want to be in museums because I wanted to see more of our works in there and try to convey that to folks about, giving our narrative.
Great. Malik, you can round out these intros.
All right, yeah. My name is Malik Roberts, and I'm a painter. I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up back and forth between here and Atlanta. So I got a little bit of like a southernness within it. My father's side of the family, they're really good at drawing and artwork and shit like that. So I've been kind of talented with with artwork since I was a kid. But it took to like my later years in high school till I really started taking it serious because I wanted to be an artist. So I really started like honing in on the craft and trying my best to do some kind of research because like Steven said, I didn't have any kind of formal training other than my uncle who went to college for the arts. So he would give me like little study sessions. I had to stay with him for a couple months and he'll tell me I have to draw something out of the newspaper by the time he get home. And he'll come and he'll critique it. Like he'll tell me to do it again, look at the nose, look how the eyes look. You could tell you messed up. Like he was real serious about this shit. So he'll tell me I messed up. So I had that kind of training. And then once I got to New York, I moved up here in 2011. I was just kind of hustling, doing my thing. And I ended up becoming an art assistant for a bigger artist named Domingo Zapata. And I worked for him for 3 years and became his main assistant. I'm sorry, some noise in the background of my studio. I don't know if y'all can pick that up or not, but yeah, I became his studio assistant for like 3 years. And then I branched off back in about 2017, 2018 on my own and just been creating work since then. And once again, like Steven said, I never really shot for being in galleries. I really wanted to be in museums because the intro to New York and museums coming from Atlanta, going to the Met in the moment and all this, I really loved the way the Renaissance work looked, but I really wanted us to be in there too. And like show some of our stories, show some of our depictions, show some of our beauty and our plight. And yeah, so that's what we've been shooting for since then. Great,
great, great. So I'd love for each of you to talk about the art that is being presented at the Oculus from each of y'all. So, just loosely, talk about what it is, what inspired it,
Who want to go first? Want me to go first? I guess
yeah, you can go.
I got quiet. I go first. The piece that's shown at the Oculus is My Brother's Keeper. It was a piece that I did for my 2018 show called Black and Blue, which was dealing with mental health issues within the Black and Brown communities. So that whole series was kind of based off the Picasso's Blue period that he did back in 1902, I believe. So that piece was just really depicting me and my sister, like my sister being my older sister, and kind of the struggles in the place that you don't really realize that like the kids have to deal with, and having like two parents that's working all the time and an older brother that's a little bit in the street, a little bit doing his own other thing, and how we had to kind of have each other's backs, and how that is the strength that we and the bond that we created during that time helped us get to this point where we are today. And like, we really just held on to the morals and all the other things that we were going through at the time, and try to shine a light through it. So that piece came from that series I did.
Great. Bernice, what about you?
My piece, it's called Raised Fists Among Sunflowers. And as a multidisciplinary portrait artist. I wanted to do something. This came about after the George Floyd murder, and I wanted to do something to engage those who weren't engaged already with the Black community and the struggle and then the fight for equality. So I wanted it also to be symbolic. It's a image of raised fists of various brown hues, and I incorporated sunflowers in it because I like to incorporate flowers in my portrait work. So I incorporated it in this work, but I wanted to represent like the fist they're raising toward the heavens. The sunflowers, they're symbolic for strength, and then loyalty. They always follow the sun. So it's like keep reaching for the light amongst the dirt. And I wanted to incorporate my pop art style using line work and shapes and boundary. And from there, I took one photo of my fist, duplicated it, turned it around in some places, resized it, and then that's how the composition came about, and just played with it until it felt right. And then once I had it, I was like, this is it. This is the piece.
Great. And your piece, Stephen.
So my piece is I wanted it to be a history piece. So it's called 54th Infantry.
Mm-hmm.
And so you may not know, the 54th Infantry were a bunch of volunteers, free Blacks from the North, who volunteered to go to the South to fight in the Civil War. So that's what I wanted to do. Again, I wanted to, the idea with that piece, with some other pieces, is just to, show our history and let a lot of folks who don't know our rich history that we have to know what's going on. So that's why I did that piece. Great.
Given the heaviness of the current moment, I'm sure you all saw that whole, the announcement from
Yes.
Louisville. How are your spirits right now? It's got to be crazy for each of y'all.
Very heavy. Very heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like I was saying, I wasn't even supposed to be in the States. My plan was I'm gonna get a house in South Carolina, and like I said, I have a place in Europe. But my goal was to go back and forth between South Carolina and Africa. Mm-hmm. I'm just not feeling the way that we're being treated in this country right now, and the blatant disregard for Black and brown men and women's life in its current state is just crazy to me. It's mind-boggling the way things are being done. And that's not to say that elsewhere you may not encounter different stuff, but for the most part, it's not as bad as it over here. It's like getting really
more systematic.
Yeah, it's like really ridiculous.
By design.
And our leadership, man, is just like,
I mean, honestly, it is frustrating because it's like you just end up disheartened. Cause it's like, at what point, like they said, the nigga got charged for the bullets that went through the hole in the wall instead of like the bullets that actually killed this woman. So
yeah, crazy.
At what point, that shows you how much they value our life. They value a drywall sheet that you get from a Home Depot for
over her life,
over a whole woman's life. Like that. Yeah. That's where you're putting more into the infrastructure of the house than you are to like our actual homes and our well-being. Mm-hmm. So that's why I just come to the studio, because I be at a loss for words, bro, because you don't really know what to do. Because you see what happened earlier this year, like niggas want to start breaking shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what ends up happening, because what else you gonna do? You got marching don't really work no more. You know how much picket signs you gonna hold up? And they still gonna keep throwing that shit in niggas' face like everybody's supposed to be cool with that. Oh man, I don't like that. So I don't know. I'm trust me, bro. I just come to the studio. I just paint. I found my way to the light is what I do. That's the way I can try to change the world and what's going on around us.
Very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Very much so. Actually, I'm also right now. Currently, I go back to school online. I decided to want to go get my master's, and so I was like, how am I gonna incorporate that with what I'm doing now currently? So I decided. So I'm a sociology major. But then I decided that I wanted to put my art to use. So I'm going for my master's in art therapy and psychology. And like the goal in 2 years, I'll be done. and I want to open my own practice. Still paint, but definitely want to help people in our community because it's kind of like a stigma in terms of like mental health, which a lot of brothers be like, oh, that's stuff that white people do, and I'm like, nah, dude, like the stuff that we need especially in our community, especially with what's going on now. A lot of people can't cope with all this craziness that we're dealing with. And so, I'm hoping to the part-time that I am here to help people in my community. But, again, like I said, going to Africa, I want to go where I'm appreciated. And I ain't got, like, my skin color is not a deterrent to someone,
Mm-hmm.
You got anything else to add, Renice?
Just adding on about how the art has been therapeutic, especially during these times. I've been fortunate. Well, for me, I feel I've been fortunate fortunate for me that my job shut down. I'm a costume maker and designer for the Metropolitan Opera House. So we've been shut down since March 13th. We were the first to shut down. They just told us we're not coming back till fall of 2021. So I've been home on unemployment, painting. I've been just doing like every week or every day I would just like live stream me doing self-portraits, and then it started evolving into me doing like the other art mediums. Now I'm trying to dabble in stained glass work, but I'm watching YouTube videos and it's coming along. It's not as easy as it looks on YouTube when they're like cutting the glass, because that for some reason I can't grip it right or something. So I got like shards of glass everywhere. But I have time to keep practicing it because I have all this time here. And I said it's fortunate for me because I just can't imagine being at work right now with all this heaviness and like having to still go out every day in the morning to, I think I'm to the Opera House. So I've just been like shut in my studio, just painting, and I go out, just for like groceries or for a walk. But it's been so nice to have that now, and think about future employment later when unemployment runs out.
Yeah, no.
But around this, I started a side business, mosaic pop art, where I've been selling my art, which is doing really well.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So y'all are artists. Y'all are also consumers, and I'm an advertising guy, so I'm always curious about how people feel about just the way that brands are handling the Black community right now. Are you noticing anything? Do you feel like there's a way that they can step up and say, you know what, we need to be more invested in the Black community, and I'd love to hear thoughts about that. For those.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts about that. I remember. Okay, so there was an artist that had some dealings with Puma, and I never like to critique other people's work, but then sometimes I feel like their work that aren't strong enough. And I was like, well, I'm not understanding, like, why is this guy doing something with Puma? And it wasn't something out of like jealousy or anything. I was just questioning, like why? Like, I don't get the correlation between, coolness or whatever and this. Like, I don't get it. And a friend of mine was like, well, you have to understand that these brands like Puma and Nike and what have you, they're not galleries. They don't care about what's good art. They only care about, oh, this guy has like 50,000 followers. This guy has this, because the culture has now gotten so big that everybody wants to be cool now, and you see that with like with the current collaboration with Coach and Basquiat. Now all of a sudden it's like everybody wants to jump on that bandwagon and do that.
And there's a like, Barbie and Basquiat collaboration.
Yes. and so it's like they doing this because there's a general love for. And I don't like to say Black art, but artists by artists of color, or is it just about let me get cool and get the coolness factor and be like, this is why we're stepping up? And then the thing about it is like, some of the artists that they're collaborating with, one are no longer here. They're not seeking out new artists. Again, it's a popularity contest because there are tons of artists that I know that really nobody knows about, but who have amazing work. And it's like, okay, look, if you want to do something where you want to collaborate with different artists, then let it be about that. But if it's only just about the popularity content, then say what it is. I get it, but then it's like, don't make it like you're being a part of the culture, because you're not being part of the culture. You're being part of maybe pop culture to a certain extent, but you're not trying to push that narrative of like, yo, we want to get it out there of what this artist is doing and what that artist is doing. So, I think more can be done. And it got to a point where I got so frustrated that I said, you know what, I'm gonna just do my own thing. So, I have some stuff that's coming out through meeting a lot of different people. I ended up becoming really good friends with I don't know if you know who Patricia Field is. So Patricia Field, well, Ranice may know, but Patricia Field is the stylist who all the characters on Sex and the City, she used to style them.
Wow.
So she's like a very known figure from the downtown art scene, the downtown club scene, like iconic figure. So she works with a bunch of artists, and I've known her for some years. And so she actually wanted to bring me on. And so again, I've always learned that, you know what, rather than waiting for somebody, you got to make your own mark and do your own thing. And I've just established a lot of good relationships from sales that I've made and meeting someone. And while Instagram is great, it's nothing like that one-on-one, because, you can't know me from Instagram. You can like my work, but, you can't vouch for me. You can't say, you know what, I know this person. This is someone that not only is his work good, but he's also a genuine person. And that's why I have that relationship with like Eric and a few others, because of just, being genuine. And that's just the way I grew up, from the days of no social media. Though I get we need it, and I do work it, but I like meeting you guys. They like, Malik's work is dope, but I got to actually kick it with him. So I know, well, his work is already dope, but now the brother's mad cool because I kicked it with him.
Yeah.
So that makes me want to see him again. And then knowing your background, Ben, and what I learned from you, when I was in high school, I took advertising. So I like to learn from my friends. And I always said, that saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, leave the room.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so even again with the fashion game, now I'm hearing Ranice, this is what she does. So why would I not want to pick her brain when she's doing costume design at the Metropolitan Opera House? Why would I not want to be in contact with her? So I can learn all this stuff and see what she's doing and love her work on Instagram, but actually knowing her, I feel like that's much more better for me.
So brands, you gotta learn and get to know these Black voices, man.
I feel like brands need to. I feel like a lot of times it really needs to have somebody in house. What I'm finding is that they need to have someone in house that's like behind the scenes. That's culture. That's actually culture. Because ever since this whole shit has been going down, I've been having mad white people just fucking hitting me up, like wanting me to be a token Black dude and paint a brand or be a part of some kind of gallery show that voices or something of that nature. It's like, nah, bro, you should already have somebody within y'all wheelhouse that already knew what the culture was and what's really going on in culture. Like, it's not all about the popularity.
So that you don't get that burden of trying to like educate those who are coming to you.
I'm not trying to go into, and I also don't want to feel like the token Black person. Like, I don't want to feel like you're just hitting me up just because Black is now like the shit to talk about. Like, I'm not gonna fill that role for you.
Yes.
Like, I'm not in that space. So unless you let me in that space and I can really like show the company or show whatever like your team is or whoever your outreach is, like what the real truth is that's going on within the culture, and like I can actually speak my voice and like you won't edit my interviews or no shit like that, then I'll deal with you. But if it's not that case, I'm finding that a lot of brands just need to have more people of the culture and from the culture that really knows this stuff that's in there, that's making decisions across these boards. So you won't seem like you're like out of place or like you're late to the party. Like you already be in the party. You already know somebody that can get you in the door.
Mm-hmm.
You're also not presenting Black people as a monolith. You have like someone who, has a diverse perspective. I think it's also interesting to see what, like, now that a lot of brands are creating these programs and hiring more Black people or to like find more talent and foster more talent. So it's going to be interesting because it's kind of too soon for me. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're doing it, if it's self-serving and they're doing it for show because this is a new wave, or if they're going to like stick to what they say. Like I know at the Metropolitan Opera House, they may have just released it yesterday in a press release that this season was canceled for a year. So the season after, they're going to open the season opener with a new opera where it's going to have a black composer, black director, black costume designer, Paul Tazwell. He did the costumes for Hamilton and The Wiz.
Okay. Oh, nice.
The Wiz Live. And they're like hiring the black chorus. The first black director, Camille Brown, who's also the choreographer, will be one of the choreographer, and they have programs like that. So that's a start. It's not really. I mean, it's an achievement, but not because they're not the first black people qualified to have like done this, and the Met's 136-year history.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, congratulations. It's like, there were plenty of people who could have been qualified before them. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see if how many other institutions that weren't there are going to like follow suit, and if they're going to stay on that track and not like fall off once they feel like people aren't talking about it as more, or calling them out on social media.
Yeah. I think everything with the whole George Floyd thing, and when they saw that not just us, but people from around the world, this rage were protesting, they was like, oh, okay, we need to stand on board and get on. Because I remember seeing, I think it was Barney's that posted something. And when I tell you, man, they got the business handed to them.
Did you do what I did, where you when a big company will post something and you go to their board of directors or their staff and like scroll down and see who's there? I'm just
what
like,
they look like, or even go to their page and look at their ads like a week before this shit happened. And
right.
I'm telling you, they got the business, and people were like, look. How many times everybody was saying the same narrative, man. You know how many times I walked in the store and y'all following me around and this and this and that, and now all of a sudden y'all like, we stand in solidarity. So it's just like, you know what?
It's the same thing like with the Colin Kaepernick situation. I feel like it's a perfect example how everybody, like the NFL, everybody got away from him, but now they're selling a black on black jersey. All right, I get it, all black Colin Kaepernick jersey for Black Power now. Like, okay, but y'all took his jerseys off the shelves when y'all say he was the one that was causing the issue.
That's a good example.
And so again, it's like I want them to be genuine, and I love the fact that if whether it be Ranis or Malik or whoever, get an opportunity to collab with a brand, let it be genuine. Don't come and holler at Malik because you see Malik is popping. So now you like, oh, we want to get some of that shine, because if that's the case, are you going to give me a percentage of that? Because you're bringing me in for what I have. And it's like,
that cultural currency is really important. I think we need to stand on that and remember that our cultural currency is really important. We can't be giving that away for nothing.
Yeah,
pennies on the dollar. Just
I have a friend who works for Complex, and he tells me all the time the little things that's going on behind the scene and how they connect with who they connect with. And it's like, you know what? I see what you guys are doing, but it's like, whatever, I don't stress it, because I feel like, at least in my regard, my time will come when it needs to come for whoever I collaborate with, whatever, it's been a journey for me, and I've been blessed so far. I've had people not through social media, but just come and reach out to me and holler at me, who really helped my career. And, people love the work. I'm getting more and more people talking about it, and it's like, I'm good. I don't feel like it's selling out, but it's like, I don't have to go this route to do something, as opposed to be like, oh, well, I just want to hurry up and have people talking about me. It's like, nah, it's gonna happen when it happens.
Right. Malik, I feel like you brought up a really good point. My guy, Mike Tong, shout out to Mike and the Friends of Giant Spoon, and all the work he's doing with the Culture LP. I don't know if any of you all are familiar with the Culture LP and the stuff that he does, but he It's based in New York and LA. He's helping amplify Black and brown artists. They did some work out in Brooklyn, painting over the shutters of different businesses out there just recently. I'm gonna try to make sure to stay in touch with y'all so y'all can be in touch with him. But he actually works in the agency world. He's one of those insiders who knows the culture and is finding those collaborations. So it's very clear that agencies need to have people who are kind of on the inside, who do know people like you, to make these genuine collaborations feel like collaborations and not just like they pay you a bunch of money just to do a little colorway for a sneaker or something like that.
Yeah. You gotta be laughing because I've seen that so many times, and I'm just like, but he didn't do anything. But I'm like, you know what? If he got it like that, he got to.
Your logo on. That's all they want to do is stamp your face and your logo on it and sell it as such. But it has to feel natural. It has to feel real. That's why, I mean, I've denied people. Trust me, I'm real militant about that shit. Like, I don't really play around, but just adding my face to anything that y'all are doing just because. Like, nah.
Oh yeah. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, I'm not poor. I don't got
way more power in the know than it is in the desk.
As a writer, I grew up with, my parents are Jamaican. So for me, it's like, all right, part of me getting into my career was they didn't want me to be a starving writer, but like clearly, at least having this conversation with y'all for an audience who isn't as familiar with the art scene, y'all can make your money, y'all could perfect your craft, y'all can make this groundbreaking work that people will admire, that people will purchase, so you can have a living, and y'all could just like express your creativity, find therapy in heavy times, right? That is super important. So I've got maybe 2 last questions for y'all. I love this conversation, by the way. This is easily one of the most lively conversations we've had. I think the ad industry needs to see, what y'all have to say, so that they know how to talk to us better, how to work with us better. So I happen to work with this magazine called Adweek on what I call marketing meets Afrofuturism, right?
Nice. I like that.
I'll make sure to share the stuff with you. But basically, it revolved around the premise of, what would the advertising world look like if Black talent mattered as much as our lives and our culture do? So I kind of have a future leaning question for y'all. Like, what would the art world look like if your talent and your craft mattered as much as we know it does? Maybe see your stuff in the Guggenheim or the Louvre.
I think it would be more of a learning experience. I had the pleasure of going down to DC to the African American Museum, and when I saw so many different other cultures and backgrounds love our story, I was like, this is what I've been talking about. And so I think if the art world did that as well, and not just picking and choosing this one or this one who they may like or whatever, they would get so much more of a narrative on our experience that it would be like, I think it would increase in tenfold. Because at the end of the day, the bottom line for them is money. That's what they're gonna want anyway. So it's like a win-win. You're still telling our story, but you're still getting your little sales here and there. But I think it would be able to increase more of a narrative about what it is that all of us do.
I also feel like it will open up the floodgates to where our art isn't just like based in painting. It'll be more like experimental artwork as well. Like more like performance arts and things of that nature. That it's not really like a kid has to get like a graffiti can or like a paintbrush to try to start painting. Like they can use their mind and explore, and maybe they want to do something else with the arts because the art scene is so open. It's like it'll be so free for them to be able to explore wherever their mind and their heart takes them. So I feel like that would be one of the benefits of having more of an open field within that space of art.
Right.
I think that you would also see more paintings and artwork that depicts not only the Black experience, but it won't come off as an experience to non-Black people. Because sometimes I feel like Black people may be an experience rather than them knowing, like understanding the Black experience. And I think you would also see more within like paintings and imagery, more diverse Black Afro hairstyles that aren't discriminated against. Like 2 days ago, or two or 3 days ago, maybe even yesterday. It's I'm at home, so the time flies.
Oh, yeah.
It's like blurring together. But they just the
Crown
Crown
Act.
Act. Yeah, to prevent discrimination against Afro hair in 2020.
Wow. I just actually read an article today. It was like the 30th anniversary of Mo Better Blues, Spike Lee's movie. And so his sister was talking about how, because remember 30 years ago, that one of the film reviewers' critiques of her was not her acting, but her unkempt hair.
Right.
And so he apparently, he didn't know nothing about natural hair, but she was just like, thinking about back then, out of all the stuff he could have said, he didn't say that. He talked about the way her hair was kept in the movie. And I was just like, wow, this is what's going on here. So, I just want to be able to push that narrative, whether it be in photography and film, like about our culture. And
advertising.
Yeah.
It would be more normal. No one would bat an eyelid.
We need spaces to do what we please and really fully express ourselves and not have to give you a fucking backstory every time we want to show off something.
I think
Yeah,
that
for sure.
Not have to come with a caveat or like a little asterisk next to it every time we have to do something.
Well, right. I do. I remember a moment now where like if I came to work one day in an afro after not usually wearing my hair straight, and someone would be like, "What's going on?"
Wow, really?
Yeah. Like
nothing. I'm at work.
I had this like existential life crisis or something.
Oh, jeez, man.
And that's across all race. Like I remember growing up, my grandmother cried when I came home from college with like natural hair. She's like, she was in her 70s when I was born. So to her, that was unkempt and not polished.
But I was just like, oh man. Have you seen Woke?
I haven't seen it yet. The new Netflix series.
I know it's on Hulu, but it's really good.
Hulu. I haven't watched it yet.
It's really good. It kind of like I kind of see all of us in his experiences.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good. So I was like, oh, okay. But really quick, Bennett. So when I was in high school, I went to the New York School of Printing, right? So we're doing graphic arts. And so our class had to do an internship. So it was a bunch of Black and brown kids. We had to do an internship at an ad agency. So we were working at a BBD&O.
Oh.
So this was back in the days, man. This is like, I want to say 88, 89. And so we had to create a commercial for deodorant. And so they literally let us do storyboard and everything. We were going to their offices. And this is, they had an old office like off of 57th somewhere. I think they've since moved. But it was really cool because this is all Black voices for this commercial. I don't know if they still do that, but it was really cool that they did that with a bunch of high school kids.
Yeah, I mean, I work with a bunch of high school kids in the ad world right now, and BBDO was my job for a few years. So shout out, they do have a new diversity and inclusion person.
Really?
So shout out to Jason Rosario and the work that he's doing with that agency. The ad world is trying. I'll say from the perspective of co-founder of 600 and Rising. 600 is a advocacy group for Black talent in advertising. We are trying to make sure that we are represented and allowed the fullest opportunities to thrive in advertising and public relations. So, I know my team is putting in as much work as we can to ensure that we're out here, because we've been here, but always.
We appreciate people like you and your team, Bennett. We need y'all. We need y'all out here fighting our fight, bro.
Yeah, man, and listen, I need y'all. Like, I need y'all as much as you need us.
We need each other.
Yeah, man. we are literally all we got, especially
Well,
in this crazy
but
time.
I already feel a kinship being that my dad is from Jamaica.
All right, respect. So I want you all to like do a little promo for yourself. We got to talk. This has been a great conversation over the last 40 or so minutes. So websites or Instagram handles where people can reach you, so that we can get more of your art into the world, get more people to hear your voices.
Well, for me, the easiest, right now I'm working on my website, which is www.stephenkogel.com, which we're being worked on. And like everyone else, have Instagram. My Instagram handle is just my name, because my name is my brand. That's stephenkogel.com. And my Instagram handle is @StephenKogel. Stephen with a P.
Okay, great. Malik?
My name is Malik Roberts. You can find me in St. Louis rolling on dubs. I'm playing. You can find me on Instagram at Malik Roberts Art, and my website is malikrobertsart.com.
Great. Bernice?
My Instagram handle, I've been in Brooklyn over 10 years, so I can say I'm a Brooklynite. Is that how it works?
That's how it works.
No,
that's
not how it works.
Some people are like, no, that's not how it works. You're not from Brooklyn. I'm like,
I'll start naming certain landmarks. Like, you know about this? No, I don't know about that. You ain't from Brooklyn. I'm just messing with you.
My Instagram handle is Brooklyn Primrose. I'm Rainice Primrose. My Instagram handle is Brooklyn Primrose, and I just launched my art website, selling art at www.mosaicpopartshop.com, and I also have an Etsy shop under Mosaic Pop Art. Yeah, which I started during COVID. The COVID shutdown. You can find prints that are currently on display at the Oculus, apparel, backpacks, rugs, drapery, and other original art and then original paintings, and one day stained glass kind work. I'm gonna try and stick to this. I gave up on weaving on the loom, but stained glass looks too cool for me to give up on.
Hey man,
it'll work out. There's so many mediums that we can use, and I like the way. Funny how when Keith Haring thought about doing this,
right,
at the art world ostracized him. Oh, what are you doing? You're too commercializing. And now he set the tone, because that's what everybody does now.
Well, I was also thinking, like, if the stained glass, if I don't get it, maybe I can create something new from it, even if it's like gluing everything together that breaks apart and soldering, create like some sort of like structural 3D work.
See, you know more than me, because I had thought about that a while back about stained glass, and I just thought, okay, maybe just get stained glass and just paint on it. I didn't know there was a whole process of literally.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you do it.
Soldering is easy. It's just like, I think I should have like went simple for my first piece. Like everyone starts with a butterfly. I wanted to recreate my linear mosaic pop art stuff. So I have all these tiny intricate pieces with thin pieces that I have to like cut out, and the glass just breaks in the shards. It's a learning curve.
Great. Well, thank you three for being here. Thank you for being here, period. Like, I'm not even just talking about this conversation that we're having, but your lives matter, your work matters, and it is awesome to be able to help give you an added platform to speak on the things that matter. So I want you all to be safe out there, because it's crazy. Can't wait for you guys to get out the studio and live a little, and feel safe in this really crazy world. So really appreciative of your time, and to the audience, thank you for watching this very important conversation. It's been an honor just getting to just hold space for creative ambassadors and the artists that get to be displayed on the Oculus, on the MVVO art site, and this can, this whole lunchtime POV series is winding down. We have one more conversation with Erica Wong and Alexis Hyde tomorrow about the business and the crafts, the business behind being an artist and making sure that young professionals can fund themselves in their craft. And then next week, just talking to a few of our lovely sponsors who have been able to support this show and be patrons of this community. So thank you again for your time, and to the three of you, stay up, be good, and I'll be in touch with you all soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
People.
Thank you, everyone, for an inspiring conversation. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in on today's live stream. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the next episode of the Lunchtime POV, as Bennett mentioned, featuring Dr. Erica Wong of Practice and Alexis Hyde of Softcore LA for an episode titled Needs and Approaches. What do I need and how do I approach it?
Oh.
And make sure, of course, if you get the chance, to visit the Oculus to see the DSOV artists on the live screens. And while you're there, make sure you stop at Italy for a free coffee and dessert. And of course, still go to our website and check out our fundraiser on Custom Ink to support City Harvest during Hunger Action Month. And I thank you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.